Bumble is back, both as our podcast sponsor and to help you find love. Honestly, dating can feel intimidating, but Bumble is definitely making it easier. Sometimes all you need is a different perspective or a little bit of guidance, which is exactly why Bumble has launched its new coaching hub. This offers support and tips from experts, and my friends are loving it so far. For the love of love, give Bumble another shot. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday and sometimes Fridays. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Okay, very exciting news. Some of you may have seen the promo for this, but High Stakes is officially coming back tomorrow. So we were thinking it was going to be a seasonal show, right? We did season 1, it was 13 weeks, and we were looking at doing season 2 either Q4 or Q1. And I knew that was a long time in between, but we've had so many changes in the business and I needed some time to get my bearings, to find a sponsor, all those things, okay? And then the girls came to me and said, what if we brought the show back weekly instead? So we were already thinking about possibly bringing it back on a weekly basis, a permanent weekly basis, as opposed to seasonally. And then Taylor Swift dropped The Life of a Showgirl, and all of the Taylor Swift versus Charlie XCX stuff started coming up, and they were like, please, we need to cover this. We need to do this. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's go for it. So they are officially coming back, super last minute, surprise, tomorrow, and they're going to be in your ears every single Friday. I'll let them explain to you what the cadence of their episodes are going to look like how they're going to do it, because every episode is not going to be like a deep dive the way that they do it now. They are going to have other types of episodes, so it's going to be really, really good. I'm really excited to have them back for you guys. I know a lot of you missed them, so yes, go subscribe to High Stakes on Spotify, on Apple. You can watch them here on our YouTube channel. As always, I'm really excited for you guys to get back into it. Okay, and the last day that we're going to have this form up that Annabelle made for our fanfic deep dive later this month. So if you guys were into the fanfic community, if you wrote fan fiction, please fill it out. She's trying to get to 50 responses, and I think she's at like 44 or something like that, 46. She's almost there. She's going to close it at 50. All right, let's get into the stories for today. We honestly had a hard time finding stories that were not related to Taylor Swift, but there was no way that I was going to do a full week of Taylor Swift stories for you guys, because tomorrow, I'm sure that we won't talk about Taylor, but High Stakes will talk about Taylor. So I was like, I cannot do Tuesday, Wednesday, and then have High Stakes covering her Friday, and then I also do it on Thursday. No. Also, by the way, High Stakes on Fridays for now is not going to impact me doing mini. Possibly in 2026, we're going to look at the editorial schedule and decide what makes the most sense, but we're still going to have our deep dives, and I'm still going to be doing mini on the weeks that I don't do deep dives on Fridays. Okay, the first story that I have for you guys is that Instagram is launching a creator award system. So the platform is launching Instagram Rings, which is a program that is billed as, quote, a new award celebrating creativity. According to the blog post announcing Instagram Rings, this award will be given to creators after being judged by a panel of judges, including the likes of Spike Lee, Marc Jacobs, Pat McGrath, Adam Mosseri, and more. The panel will nominate their favorite creators, and then the eventual winners will have a ring visible on their Instagram profile, like how I guess a ring appears when you post a story, around their profile picture. The winners will also receive a physical ring designed by Grace Wales Bonner. According to The Hollywood Reporter, 25 creators will receive rings, and they will be from many different corners of the platform. The head of fashion partnerships at Instagram, Eva Chen, spoke to the publication to reveal more about rings. Of the judging process, she said, Instagram is a community of 3 billion people, and those 3 billion people probably reflect a billion different interests. So the criteria was really tough. I'm saying this as a judge, seeing the huge list of nominees and being able to cull it all down just to 25, it was a challenge. And I know that. Like the other judges, it was too many great people to choose from. But really, we were looking for people who take creative chances and who are always pushing the envelope and thinking about new ways to talk to their audience. Obviously, there are already existing awards for creators. Most of them mirror traditional award shows like the Streamies. But this is obviously kind of a different approach. It's hard to tell how successful this will be or if people will even care since it is still very early days. But it's positive to see a platform recognizing and rewarding creators. And I wonder if this is kind of Instagram's way of saying, sorry that we took away the specialness of the Instagram verification and now anybody can have the blue tick beside their name. So now this is like another layer of being like, okay, anyone can buy a blue tick now. So how do we make creators who are still using the platform, how do we incentivize them to keep doing so? And how do we make them feel special and all of that kind of stuff? Because I do feel like the Instagram verification cheapened the platform so much in so many ways. I don't think the average user will care if they come across a creator with an Instagram ring, but I imagine creators will care a lot about this. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys, it's a bit random for mini scroll, but it's still interesting. It's actually mini tech scroll coded. I don't know. You guys, like I said, every single fucking story right now on the internet has something to do with Taylor Swift. So these stories are just random, okay? Nintendo is suing a Reddit mod for $4.5 million. The Reddit user Archbox, whose real name is James Williams, is being sued by the video game company for piracy. So there is a popular subreddit called Switch Pirates, which is a source, quote, on everything revolving around piracy on the Nintendo Switch from apps, games, development, and support. That being said, if you enjoy a game and you have sufficient money, consider supporting the developers by buying it. So James is a moderator of this community. According to the motion filed against James, Nintendo alleges that he, quote, facilitated a network of unauthorized shops that have offered to the public extensive libraries of pirated Nintendo Switch games for download. The filing also claims that James sent thousands of messages to users informing them about different piracy websites, and also asked for donations of gift cards in return. Nintendo also allegedly sent a cease and desist letter last year, but James, while cooperative at first, later became, quote, combative and uncooperative, allegedly. I'm sorry, I need to pause here. Why would you ever become combative and uncooperative against a company as big as Nintendo if they are threatening to sue you? What did you think was going to happen? As for the $4.5 million that Nintendo has put forth, Patricia Hernandez explains for Polygon that, quote, the number is somewhat speculative in the sense that Nintendo is not arguing that the company suffered $4.5 million in losses. Rather, it arrived at that number by looking at similar cases, like the one involving Bungie and cheat makers, where the Washington-based company was awarded millions in damages. I also may have said Bungie wrong. Maybe it's Bungie. I assume it's Bungie, okay? Annabelle informed me that I said, and I think some of you guys commented this too, that I called him DJO instead of Joe. Like for Joe Keery, like, but he's all, like his DJ name, his like singer name or whatever is Joe, but it's like spelled DJO. Okay, I'm sorry. I had never heard it said out loud. That keeps happening to me lately and it's so embarrassing. Okay, Nintendo has long had an issue with piracy apparently, where they've sued and reached settlements with various sites that hosted copyrighted games. Polygon, for example, also reported on the settlement reached between Nintendo and LoveRoms.com and LoveRetro.co previously. Now, there's a lot of debate around lawsuits like this within the video games community. A popular phrase that's thrown around when kind of talking about this is, quote, if buying isn't owning, then pirating isn't stealing. And that logic implies that if purchasing a game doesn't lead to actual ownership, then having an unauthorized copy isn't technically stealing, because ownership in the traditional sense doesn't exist. Put simply, you can't steal something if you can't own it. I don't know if that would necessarily apply in every context, but I think it's an interesting idea and it's not unique to video games. We've been having this discussion about how like nobody owns anything anymore. You pay a licensing fee to companies to basically like rent or borrow their services. If you think about how back in the day you used to buy a physical like DVD or VHS, like a physical film, and now you just pay subscription money to services to temporarily watch that, and they can take that away from you and you don't personally own it, so you can't do anything about that. Those are just a couple examples, but we're seeing it everywhere. Like The whole economy feels like it's propped up by us paying subscriptions for things instead of us actually buying things anymore. Okay, the last story that we need to talk about, I do have like 2 little tidbits at the end of very quick news, but the last full story is we need to talk about how the 6'7" kid is seemingly getting into crypto. We haven't actually spoken about the 6'7" meme on Mini Scroll yet, and I have no idea how that's the case, but we haven't. But 6'7" has become an extremely popular term online, specifically among younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha. It seemingly originated from the song Doot Doot by Skrilla featuring G Herbo. As explained by Know Your Meme, quote, the song became the subject of a variety of videos, including edits of the basketball player LaMelo Ball, who is 6'7" in height, and lip dub memes that mention the number 6'7", with TikTokers saying it reminds them of 6'7". Since then, it's taken on a life of its own. I'm sure many of you guys have seen, but people are using it in many different contexts, and most of the time it's pretty random and doesn't necessarily make sense, but that is basically part of the joke. It's like referential humor. Then from the 6'7" meme comes the 6'7" kid. So this was basically a video of a young boy at a basketball game that was posted on YouTube by Cam Wilder. When the camera panned to him, the boy started screaming 6'7". This spawned a whole subset of memes, being the Mason memes, which were basically a way to stereotype teen/tween boys who overuse the 6'7" meme. And they, as part of this meme, also what has been described as having fluffy hair. Anyway, the kid in question, he's named Maverick Trevillin, and he has since started posting content himself under the handle @Mav67Kid. He is 14 years old, allegedly, which is crazy. And now this brings us to the actual story, okay? He recently posted a video with some updates. In a clip on X, he said, we have a team in place and an overwhelming amount of collabs we are working on. We are ready to bring 6'7" into crypto. Reminder, this kid is 14. Now, when you look at his accounts, he has @6'7" on chain linked in his bios on X and Instagram. The associated websites read, 6'7" is the meme taking over the world. Now it's official. It is now on chain. Tokenized by @Mav67Kid, not to own it, rather to steward it. He was the catalyst, and 6'7" is bigger than any one person. It belongs to the people, to the community that lives it, builds it, and pushes it further than any meme has ever gone. Come on. Any meme has ever gone? These people did not grow up in the 2010s. Any meme? Come on. 6'7" is not bigger than any meme that has ever existed. Anyway, unsurprisingly, many people feel this may end up being a rug pull. We will see how this plays out. I hope that he is not, kind of getting himself into a situation like Hawk Tuah, but like this seems to be happening a lot where it's like somebody goes like momentarily viral for something like this, like these ad hoc videos, right? They turn into a meme as happens, and they're able to capitalize on that, which, okay, sure, like good for you. Honestly, good job. But then they get like absorbed by the crypto community. The crypto community like swoops in, and then they end up kind of launching these like, shitty meme coins. And I don't know, we've seen it time and time again. It ends up being a rug pull. It ends up being like a low-key scam. Okay, the last 2 stories that I wanted to mention, like I said, these are very quick tidbits. They weren't really anything beyond just what I'm going to say, but there have been a lot of rumors recently that Alix Earle and Braxton Berrios were broken up. They haven't been together in a while, like physically, they haven't posted each other in a while. Obviously, Alix is doing Dancing with the Stars, so like that's part of it. But Braxton also hasn't gone to a Dancing with the Stars taping since Alix has been on, seemingly. However, this week, Alix put an end to those rumors when she posted Braxton for his 30th birthday. And then the next story, I didn't want to make this a full story because it seems like people are not totally convinced, but Trisha Paytas may be starring in the next season of Euphoria. She mentioned that she had a role in Euphoria in the recent episode of Just Trish, but many Reddit users seem unsure if it was a joke or not. Trish Crave, who we actually did interview one time, did post that Trisha told him about it personally about 6 months ago, possibly bringing some credibility back to these rumors. But a lot of people on Reddit seem to think that she's referring, like making a joke in this clip, and she's referring to a time when she actually sent in an audition tape to Euphoria and didn't get it. Anyways, guys, that's it for Mini Scroll today. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Please fill out our form down below for Annabelle, our fanfic form. I will talk to you tomorrow, and High Stakes is back tomorrow. Okay, bye.